I want to talk about using 2 throw bags to set your rope in the best possible positioning. It's very easy to overshoot and get your line hung up on something much smaller. And rather than pulling it down and go over and over and try shooting again, try attaching 2 throw bags that are weighted together in such a way that you pull them up and you utilize the second throw bag as the line to pull your rope back up. As you saw, he let the swing of it pull it up and over the appropriate limb and work its way down. Takes a little bit of effort to get it to come down because you're pulling the second line up and over. But now you can disconnect the 2 throw bags and utilize the one that's in the appropriate location to set your rope. And when you tie onto it, you can do it in such a way that you don't have any knots. A series of clove hitches and a couple of wraps at the very, very tip make it much easier to pull it up and over. Sometimes you get stuck and you want to be able to make a real quick, smooth transition here. Jorge swung over and got started in this tree. This is a big elm tree that we're working in, and I'm doing the groundwork. Lots of big limbs are hanging over a structure and a pool area, so we have a lot to be protective of here. I had to rope everything on this job. I'm actually standing on the roof using the rope to get everything up and down and disconnecting, cutting it up into small enough pieces, taking it to the edge of the roof and throwing it off. It's the garage roof, actually. That limb was actually a lot heavier than it looks in the video here. Actually jerked me over. I wasn't quite ready for it. I'm glad I had my gloves on. Leather gloves are important. This gives you a good overview of the size of this tree and the spread of these branches. They're very, very wide. And the tie-in point was way up on the back. There's what we're working around. I've got the Bonner double bag. Nick Bonner came up with this years ago. I don't even know if they still sell it, but I think it's a tremendous idea. I have 2 throw balls I keep with me. I've got the yellow line, I've got the old purple line. I got to say, I prefer the yellow line so much more than the purple line. But the way this bag works, one edge of the throw ball line, and then you flack all your line onto the flap here. It's not a bag. I call it a double bag, but it's really just a flat surface. And when you flack it all on here this way, it doesn't get tangled up. And the beauty of this bag is you've got 2 throw balls, because 2 throw balls can come in very, very handy. I always recommend having at least 2 throw balls with you when you're working. And I'm going to show you why in just a minute here. First off, one gets hung up, you've got a second throw ball. There you go. So put that together, put this up like this, you roll it up, and you're ready to go. I'm going to do that for the second one as well. You know, a lot of people use these collapsible bags or bins that you can put the throw ball or the throw bag into. They just seem to be a little bit larger than I like. And this one will hold 2, and it's real convenient. It zips up. You know, everything goes back in place. It's got a little Velcro strap here, so nothing comes undone. You keep it all nice and tight. And it's always so convenient and ready to go. I do keep a third throw ball in another small container as well. But this is the one, 9 times out of 10, I just use this little bag here. And I don't know if Tree Stuff is still selling it or not. I hope they are. It's a really, really good idea. I want to talk about this dead birch tree that we have to remove. It's not a big tree. And a matter of fact, a lot of homeowners might say, hey, I can do that myself. But what you don't recognize is birch trees, as well as a lot of other species, they rot out quickly. And a few years ago, a buddy of mine had one of his guys go up an alder tree. He was about 40 feet up, and the alder tree snapped at the base. The guy fell down and he died. So I'm always very, very aware of certain species of trees when they die, because they can be very, very prone to breaking off right at the ground. Yeah, it's moving. I can see it. So I asked Jorge, I said, would you climb that tree? And he says, yeah. And I thought to myself, no. I just had these visions. It was like a bad nightmare remembering when that guy died. And so I decided to do it all from the ladder. The ladder takes the pressure off the tree. It's not rocking. I did attach the ladder to the tree to stabilize it, and I did all this work going up and down the ladder. I felt much more secure doing it that way. And when I was actually up in the tree, I was rocking it back and forth, and I could feel the base of the tree moving quite significantly, to the point of where, I didn't want to end up in the pool. So I tied the ladder to the tree to make this cut, and it was a little sketchy. You'll probably notice that I tied myself to the tree as well. Well, because all of my weight is on the ladder, this is just stabilizing me. And if I was in the tree, my body weight would be rocking it and possibly causing the base of the tree to crack off and fall over. It was a decision that I made because I don't like taking chances. And if it's a what-if scenario, I try to go for the safest possible procedure that I can. You'll notice I moved my ladder to the other side to make this drop. I would have liked it if I could have dropped the whole tree in one piece, but there was no direction that I could drop it that wouldn't cause more damage. So I had to piece it down. And you can see here by this last image that there are some significant hollows in the tree that weakened the upper portions as well. I always like to dissect a tree when I see something like that to get a better idea of just how extensive the weakness is. You learn a lot if you start opening up some wounds. Cut into them, see what you can find. You see there's this plug-in fence surround for their children. And I asked them, I said, can I unplug it and pull it out? And she said, it's so hard to get that back in place and get it tight and get it all situated. I'd really rather you didn't do it. So I kind of accepted it, did it without taking it apart. Now, the area beneath me around the pool were ceramic tiles, and they were quite thin. They were about half-inch tiles. And I knew that if I dropped anything on one of those tiles, I'd crack the tile. So that's why I put all the brush and left it there till the very end. And I pieced this thing down. And I wanted to show you the final cut here, so bear with me. Gives you a better idea of the decay inside. Now, recognizing birch trees, I know that the roots rot out quite quickly. But I wanted to see just how much decay was in the base. And you can see the whole center was rotted out, and that spreads out into the root system as well. Now, would it have broke? Well, that's a bit of Bit of a guess. Could it have broke? Absolutely, it could have broke. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm an early riser and I love to see the sunrise. And I like to see the subtle changes that go on. When you're looking for a beautiful sunrise, you have to have clouds in the sky, but not too many clouds. This is a really good opportunity to watch how the changes occur. And they get a little bit better and a little bit better. And as it reaches a crescendo of colors, there's a point where it is the absolute best. And that only lasts for, a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and then it slowly goes away. It gets a little bit less and a little bit less. So if you're taking pictures or using video of a sunrise, pay attention to that one moment. You can wait for it, but if you're not ready for it, you'll miss it. And then the day begins. When I was a young man, age 18, I moved to Yosemite, and I met a man who became a mentor to me in photography. And he taught me how to see clearly, but most importantly, to be in the right spot at the right time before something happens. Very important. Now, not every sunrise will be a prize winner, but if you're not ready for it, you won't catch it at all. Last night, I was able to take some photos of a comet that only shows itself once in every 80,000 years. You can't see it with the naked eye, but if you know where it's at and know how to take the picture, you realize just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there.